The players, the personalities who come from around the world to play professional soccer in the United States.
Go, go, USA! Oh, it's incredible!
In a world where some call it football, football, or soccer, they dare to call it foosball. One thinks New York is blue, the other thinks New York is red. Soccer in America from a German perspective. Let them put some sauerkraut on your hot dog and join them for the Schnitzel Boys USA Hour.
Yeah! You like that Max Bredos? Yes, I snuck in there. It's right there.
Very good, very good.
Yes!
Oh, and then it stops so suddenly, though. The music.
Yeah, I need to
Anyway,
fix that. I need to fix it. I'll fix it next week.
hello.
So one thinks New York is red, the other thinks New York is blue. I don't know. I think it's light purple.
I mean,
right?
How can we even begin to? We will not be able to contain this scintillating game, this epic contest that was the Hudson River Derby this Saturday. I mean, it contained multitudes. What can we say? It was a game of superlatives. It had it all.
Yeah, it had everything because we predicted it. We said it's got 0-0 written all over it,
and we were sadly
we were right. There were no surprises. There were no magic of football. You know how sometimes soccer can surprise you and be like, "Hey, that was a really great day. It was a good 90 minutes." No, it was unanimous all over the Twitter sphere. At the stadium, Red Bulls didn't show up. It was just a really boring display of how sad both of our clubs are right now.
Yeah, this is yeah, it was bad. I mean, I'm not good at predicting things. Usually in this case, I guess we got it right.
You nailed it.
Yeah, I mean, it was just our first shot was in the 56th minute. We had our first shot, and you all had a bunch, but you have some impotent attackers out there. And it was Not gegen Elend. We've called this before in Germany. They say, when it's like two poor teams. Not gegen Elend. How did we translate it? Suffering against poverty versus suffering.
Yeah, I guess poverty. We're poverty. You're suffering.
Yeah, and we're suffering. Yeah, I mean, there were hello Hans Wolf. It was it could have been different because people showed up. We had 29,000 people there.
We had 50. We had 70.
Guys. That's not entirely true. Like, I guess
I know. But of the away,
it was funny. I mean, it made me. You sold 70 tickets because that was like people had to pay like $60 to sit.
50
sit on the roof or something, right?
Yeah, 50, and I'm like, who are they? Who are they fooling?
I mean, that was not a good deal. That's why only 70 people took, because they put the Red Bulls. I send you a picture, right?
Yeah.
Put the Red Bulls fans in the upper deck. They were the only people in the upper deck at Yankee Stadium.
And there were 70 of them, right?
There were 70 of them. I mean, there were obviously more Red Bulls fans in the general population, including our section, where there was some frisky teenagers trying to start something.
With you? Or handsy with you?
Not with me personally, but they were, I mean, frisky in terms of, like
ready to go,
Red Bull, doing Red Bull chants in the NYCFC fan section. No, there were other people. There were other people who intimidated them. I'm not the enforcer. I'm not an enforcer at this point in my life. Not that I ever was.
You used to be an enforcer for the Gambino crime family, right? Isn't that what brought you to New York? You answer an ad and it was an internship, and then you worked your way up to soldier.
That's right. That's exactly.
Good thing you left
that's
that
what
life
happened.
behind.
We're not. I mean, I asked you not to talk about that publicly, but okay. I guess at some point, it was you weren't gonna be able to help yourself.
No.
Now, I guess I'm glad we made it. We made it this far. But yes, that is what happened.
Well, at some point on StubHub, tickets were $2, which I've never seen before.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if that was a glitch or what, but
you did not. You don't generally have to pay $50 to get into Yankee Stadium for our home games. It's just a big, tickets.
But $5, that's a glitch, and I hope it was real.
$5 is cheap. Yeah,
yeah. I never paid $5. Like the cheapest I ever paid was $7. That was like 10 years ago. That was 2 inflations ago. So,
but yeah, people showed up. This was our last Yankee Stadium home game. We're on stadium tour this week. We're playing three home games, 3 different stadiums in 1 week.
Is that real?
What other team has that to offer? Where do you get this much variety?
The Harlem Globetrotters?
Why unless you're following Taylor Swift on around, like we're like a rock band. We go on tour. Even our home games are all over the place.
Are you playing at the band shell? You're playing at the band shell out in Central Park or whatever?
The Red Bull band shell.
Red Bull
in New Jersey. We're playing at your place.
Oh, your fans love that. And then
I feel like I was gonna go. I'm deciding because I'm supposed to go to Vermont on Saturday, but I do feel like the Red Bull Arena games, I feel a special compulsion to go because I feel like those get unfairly ignored by our fan base.
It's a soccer stadium.
It's a soccer stadium. It's not. I mean, for most people, not harder to get to than Yankee Stadium or Citi Field. And anyway,
what's the third stadium? So
Citi Field, playing
Red Bull Arena, and then what's the other one?
We played Yankee Stadium on Saturday.
Oh, got it.
That already happened. Yeah.
And then you're not playing any more Yankee Stadium games for the rest of the season.
No, this is it because, because of the playoffs, they never let them schedule things in October. We only have 1 home game left, and in October, and that's supposed to be at Red Bull Arena too, but they are trying to move that to Citi Field now because the Mets are not making the playoffs. Neither are the Yankees, but I don't know, for some reason Yankee Stadium is not available. So I think that game could move, I heard. But it's not official. So anyway, but Yankee Stadium we're done with. We may have. It's now Citi Field, Red Bull Arena, unless...
When you make the playoffs, where are those games going to be?
We are not making the playoffs, I'm sorry to say.
What?
I mean, now we're getting close. I mean, I definitely said goodbye to that idea a few weeks ago, and we're getting close to mathematical elimination. It's like I read a chart today. People have these percentages. And we have, if we win all of our remaining games, we still have a 97% chance. Not that there's any chance of that happening, but if we did, we still have that would get us into the playoffs. I guess 97% of the time. If we win 4 out of 5, it's 51%, but at 3 out of 5, it's like 7. So basically,
You lost when you started bringing up percentages. Just you have to get 40 points ish in this, and like.
Well, the point I'm making is we're getting to the point where even mathematically it's getting we're getting close to eliminated. But of course, everybody's saying we're going to fight. I mean, what are they going to say? Like, there's no chance. Of course they can't say that. But so we're gonna stay at it, but. This game. I don't know. Do you want to get into it a little bit? I don't have that.
Yeah, we'll get into a lot. I mean, I want to talk about what Daniel Young was talking about. We'll get into that in a second in the chat. I have a video to share. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay. So do you? But keep going with your thought. We'll talk.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this, I'm not one to ask for the coach's head gratuitously, but this really. This game was pretty dispiriting, just in terms of, like, because in the past we've had that sort of, the setup is, the Red Bulls are who they are, and have that sort of chaos ball, the high press, and we're supposed to counter with quality, right? We're supposed to be the first two games that we lost this year, I felt like, I know we had some disagreements about our interpretation of how that went, but I felt like we actually did pretty well, sort of making our way through the press, and then our midfield just kind of, that's where things sputter. Like we didn't have any real offensive ideas, but I think in terms of the tactical setup, I felt like the team did pretty well. In this on Saturday, there was no more of that. It was like an absolute
there was zero shots by halftime.
It was like an admission of defeat. It was like, we are not going to even try to play out. We're not going to try to play. We're going to kick it long. We have Munsef Bakra now, our number 9, who can run in behind defenses, and and actually in the beginning there were a couple of moments where that almost worked. It seemed like the Red Bull defense was not necessarily expecting that, and so he came close a couple times, but then after like 10 minutes in, the two center backs figured out that that's what's going to happen, and then we kept like hoofing it to him, and he was up against two center backs, and there was just no. And so I thought that was pretty. I mean, the team showed up, the fans showed up. There were 29,000. The team, I felt like, had the fight, like they were engaged and ready to go to battle. But like in terms of the game plan, it was just like, this is what we're doing. We're just going to hit long balls to our lone striker up front. Like I thought that was pretty sad. That made me sad.
I didn't see much quality from Backman either. I mean, I was young, but
the
thing that stuck out to me,
he was on an island, for a lot of it. Yeah. But what was your
Talis Magno comes in at the 89th minute. When he comes in late.
Yeah, stoppage time. And
Talis Magno is this mystery, right? Where we're like, he's been dropped, hasn't played in a while. And like you said, he's the highest value player who's not playing, essentially. Anyway, he comes on the field to replace Backman, right? Because he was the original number 9 before Backman came in.
Right.
And I don't know about you. I saw a player that was much more ready to go. I don't know. I was that player. I'm like, why did he lose the spot again to this guy?
This is a good. Well, he's not a 9. He's a winger, and I mean, I think this is another. I guess has to be another knock on the coach in a way. Like, I mean, so that the number 9 was his spot to lose this season, and he didn't take it. So that's on him. He didn't perform. But then, like at this point that he doesn't, there's a few games he didn't come off the bench at all, or now he came in the 90th minute. It seems like you should get Bakra and Magno on the field at the same time. Like there has to be a way. And we have not seen that. We have seen Talis either not play or come in as the 9. As a Bakra replacement, and that is just not. That's just not happening, like, and it seems good. It's almost like it seems almost punitive. I mean,
right. I'm like,
I mean, he was again. He showed some. He's a very talented guy. He showed some sparks, but then he also, he didn't really get any shots off, and. Yeah, I don't know. We're not a functioning team right now, and it's not.
We got some shots off.
Oh, you got some shots off. You had some good looks.
We had some great looks.
Throughout the Red Bull. Yeah, you had the better chances really throughout the entirety of the game.
However, I want to share a video here. The problem with our opportunities is our opinion on what a number 9 does. I want to play something here.
Okay.
Let me know you can hear it. Can you hear it?
Coach, Tom Morrow.
I can.
9 minutes today. He's played in nearly every regular season.
Play it one more time.
Oh, this is Troy. Yeah, Troy Lesane. He didn't put his suit. He didn't put his suit on because he.
This is at Yankee Stadium. You can see because they're in the keg room. Probably there's a fold-out table here on the bottom. The press officer doesn't have a seat. He's with a laptop on the side. And then Troy Lesane, who was not at the game because due to a suspension,
Right.
is taking questions. There's 2 microphones on this Costco table and a quick step and repeat with no sponsors on it behind. You know, I'm telling you, this looks like the keg room. I don't know where they filmed this, but this is the post-match press conference. And he was given a question about our super number 9.
Coach, Tom Barlow played 89 minutes today. He's played in nearly every regular season game this year. He ranks 134th in shots taken across the entire league.
So to clarify, what the guy just said, what the journalist just said, was Tom Barlow ranks 134th across the entire league of shots taken. He's our number 9, and he ranks 134th in a league of 29 teams.
What is your message to the fans who are losing confidence that we are going to win heading into the last 6 games and make the playoffs with someone like him on top?
Tom Barlow, though, I appreciate the statistic that you gave me, but if you look at the statistics of what he does in relationship to our style of play, he's an absolute monster. This guy runs and presses better than any 9 in the league. So if there's a number 1 rating for that, I would say he's number 1 for that. I know 9s are judged on goals, but 9s are also judged in our style of play of how do you disrupt the opponent high up the field. Do you ever see New York City kick the ball and be direct like they were tonight? Part of that is because of them maybe changing tactics because they're trying to exploit something that they see that maybe we're weak in. But also part of that is because they're always under pressure, and that's because of Tom Barlow. And so I can understand the frustration. We're all frustrated with not scoring more goals, but it doesn't lie on one player. But I'll take those questions on all day long for a guy that I see puts everything that he has into every day for this club. So I back him all day long.
Thank you.
All right.
I mean,
we don't need a number 9 that scores goal. We need number 9s that press and disrupt. He's a monster on that. And I'm just like, I don't think that's true either, to be honest. I mean, it's kind of true, but like, I'll take a number 9 that scores goals. Maybe that makes me weird. I don't know.
I mean, these days, I think they're both. I mean, I understand what he's saying. They're both important. I mean, we know this from Tati Castellanos. Tati was a pressing machine before he started scoring regularly, actually. So I think that is a good way to keep your spot, you know, because coaches do like to see that. But Tom Barlow sucks. Like, I mean, Jesus, like he's a special. I mean, he was
bad. Now
he's a special kind of like just. I mean, I gave myself the self-imposed embargo of talking about Tom Barlow at this game because I was going to jinx, you know, because I've had this happen before with second-rate strikers where I'm like, oh, here's Corey Burke, you know, like staggering off the bench again, barely able to walk, and then of course he scores, or Dom Dwyer, or all these like over the hill strikers that have scored against us. So I was like, I'm not going to say anything about Tom Barlow today. But but yeah, he's not good.
Well, Troy going for bat for this guy. I edited a little bit. Pretty much he said that we've been limited with striker this year because Dante's injured, Corey's injured, and their new guy Cabeza, it's only been there for a couple of weeks. He was very polite, but he's
Elias Manuel is.
Elias also can't score goals.
Can't hit the broadside of a barn. Yeah,
right. I texted you. Yeah, he had 2 good shots, one wide and one straight to the keeper, which is what he's been doing all season.
Right.
It's like, you know, there's space in between the keeper and the post of the goal, Elias. You know,
and then Matty Ice, Matt Freese, who I think has now outright won the starting spot, made one six save against
Omir Fernandez.
Direction.
I think, right?
I don't remember. It was the other side of the stadium, so I don't.
It wasn't Elias.
It was
Elias,
but it was that really looked like it was going in, and
it was the moment. We had one at the very beginning. I think it was Elias, where it was like 1-on-1. It was the 8th minute and just wide. I'm like, you just need to nail one of them. We just don't have the quality to do that. So, which brings me back to the chat here. Daniel Young Hello, Daniel. Says it was a decent result for both sides. I mean, it was. But we both eliminated.
Well,
each
I
other.
mean, I was going to say, like, it really didn't help either team. Like, both of these teams. I mean, in reality, as you correctly pointed out last week, is we're already both out, really, but for all practical.
Now we're double confirmed
by all practical purposes, and so the tie really just makes it worse for both teams.
Confirmation, we call it.
Yeah.
But anyway, great atmosphere for NYCFC fans. Bad showing for Rebels fans. Very disappointing. Only 50 people. Pretty much talking about the bad showing for the Rebels fans. I thought it was bad on their fans. What that is, Daniel, is the club has lost the fans. So they lost them a couple months ago, and then it doesn't matter what's going to happen. The like a Hudson River Derby didn't draw them out. Nothing's going to draw them out. They're essentially lost. So the New York Rebels has a lot of work to do. They're making all these promises. They just had a big shuffle where they hired a whole bunch of new marketing folk and beefed up their marketing staff and beefed up their management staff. The New York Rebels has the smallest staff in the league. And last week they announced, I think, 5 new senior level positions. A lot of promotions. It wasn't necessarily outside hires, but it was clues to that they're beefing up a little bit. And Marc de Grandpré has mentioned, and our technical director, Dennis Hamlet, also recently mentioned that next season they're going to have more money than they've ever had to buy players. That's what he said. Like I said, it is season ticket renewal time. But, me judging Garber with him just being passive-aggressive about it, maybe he did do what maybe he, behind the scenes, gave him a little bit of an ultimatum. He's like, you guys need to beef up. Or, I don't know what he said, but something's happening behind the scenes. Lemonade's being made.
All right.
And but it's just verbal right now. We don't know. But if they are to offer, and what I mentioned before with the whole NYCFC's new stadium coming in, it's do or die time for the New York Rebels as a franchise right now. So they need to do something to make it exciting to go to them and be their fan base. And this season they disappointed. It's the first time they're going to miss the playoffs in 14 years. And the last few years, they've been limping in it anyway. So they've been losing the fans slowly but surely for a little while now. And this season was very much like the exclamation point to that. Compounded with the fact that Dietrich Mateschitz, the owner, died last year. And the status of the club was overall uncertain for a while. That doesn't help. That's how the season started. So, we'll see. We'll see if this offseason is a renewal. It needs to happen. It has to happen. Let's see if they do it. Let's see if they get to Antoine Griezmann. Yeah. Let's see if they get to bring in Antoine Griezmann and a guy they can put on billboards all over the city. I don't know.
That'd be sick. I would go see Antoine Griezmann play.
Yeah, they need to do something like that. They need to figure it out. I mean, there was a time when it was David Villa versus Thierry Henry, right? Big faces they could put on billboards.
That never happened.
Did they ever overlap? Or am I missing?
No.
Oh, you're right. Maybe never. But still, this city.
But I understand. But
this
I understand what you're saying.
Right.
You're right. You're right. Conceptually, even though.
I guess Thierry Henry's last season was 13, and then Villa's was 14, I think, right?
15.
Or 15.
Yeah.
So maybe they never overlap, but they should. Like, there's no reason NYCFC and New York Rebels aren't getting stars, putting them on billboards and being like Carlos.
Well, we don't get those kinds of players anymore either. I mean,
I know.
We have.
Like I said,
that's not. I don't think that's the problem. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, I mean, it seems like
it's definitely our end. So NYCFC have 29,000 fans. I'm talking.
Yeah, we have 29,000, and I do feel like we have some. We have some quality on the roster, even though the team is not currently functioning. I think we're not that far off. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I mean, assuming we're gonna get a new coach. The last 3 coaches that we left because they had better offers. So it's actually, and so then the team was good and the coach left and they got worse. So hopefully we're going to have a different experience. We're going to get a new coach, and actually the team will improve. So that'll be fun, maybe. But yeah, that's next. That's next year.
Okay, I was gonna say. So you're thinking new coach in the off season? It's time.
I mean, I don't see how
Cushing survives.
Cushing keeps the job if he doesn't make the playoffs, and he's not making the playoffs.
Who's your next coach?
Who knows? No idea. I mean, I think
Gio Savarese.
Isn't he more of a Red Bulls guy? I don't think is he.
That bridge is burned forever.
He doesn't strike me as a CFG
right
type coach, but who knows? Who knows? We're gonna get some. Yeah, we're gonna get some other
youth coach, some obscure youth coach to come out and be your new head coach.
I mean, maybe Bellucci will get his chance. That'd be fun.
Where's he coaching right now?
He's an assistant. He's been an assistant for a few years.
Mehdi Bellucci's a former New York Red Bulls player, right?
Yeah, but he played for us too. So only for 1-2 seasons, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I think when Cushing came as an assistant, because Cushing, he won Champions Leagues with the Man City women.
Yeah, women City.
And what woman City, right?
Woman.
I got it. I got you. I'm picking up what you're putting down, Stefan.
Woman.
Anyway, when he came as an assistant to Ronnie Dyla, I did think that this was probably with the idea that he would eventually be a head coach, because that seemed like kind of. I mean, I don't know. It's sort of hard. It was interesting to see how the status compares between the men's and the women's game, where he after winning the Champions League with Man City women, then became Ronnie Dyla's assistant in MLS. It's like, okay, so now there's nobody obvious, and
our former head coach Gerhard Struber will be featured on the sidelines in the UEFA Champions League on Wednesday, as he's coaching a Red Bull Salzburg.
Is he gonna have some next level water drinking moves to show off for this occasion?
That's what I'm watching. But it's just another example of like European coaches who fail in MLS within weeks get a much better job. Always waiting for them.
Is he a predecessor? Is his predecessor had sort of this like Hitler Youth kind of look, right? Like he
where at Red Bull Salzburg?
At Red Bull Salzburg.
Maybe I don't remember.
I remember he had like this weird. I was like, wow, that's kind of anyway.
I only know he's head of the coach at Red Bull Salzburg.
I should start a blog or a Twitter account about the fashions of
coaches.
It turns out I have strong opinions constantly about what people are wearing. I was watching Forest against Burnley today, and I was really upset by what Vincent Kompany was wearing on the sideline. On the sideline of Burnley, he was wearing a suit with a T-shirt with a white. He was wearing a dark suit, I think double-breasted even, with a white T-shirt.
That's a thing. That's a fashion. Patrick Vieira dresses like that, doesn't he? It's like a Patrick Vieira thing.
Well, he would. I don't know. He would wear like a jacket, maybe like a blazer, not like a suit. I don't know. A dark suit with a white T-shirt is questionable. And then he had a baseball cap on, a black baseball cap.
What team?
With that. I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming it was Burnley. I'm assuming it's Burnley themed. You couldn't tell. It was like black on black, kind of one of those like fancy. I was like, this doesn't work. I was not impressed. Anyway, it
is cool. If you start that blog, I would subscribe to it 100%. That's a good blog idea, by the way.
Gafferware.
I mean, I was watching the Heidenheim. It was either Heidenheim or Augsburg. I think it was Heidenheim game, and that head coach looked like a hobo from a basement somewhere. I was like, he was wearing a shirt. It was like a club shirt and like sweatpants. But he's like a big, old, weird, fat guy. He has like my body, pretty much. And the shirt was maybe a little too short.
That doesn't mean you can't dress well.
Yeah, but he was dressed like my dad is dressed. My dad's
Okay.
retired. He doesn't care who looks. It's like, I don't know. I looked at that and I'm being like, this is the most unprofessional looking attire I've ever
It's
seen.
a wild. Patrick Vieira, I was dressed quite well. I thought when he was
Well,
I
you look at
remember
that through
him.
rose-colored glasses, I think. I remember when Mike Pecky took over, the big question was what his fashion was going to be. And him and Benny, what's his name? Benny down at D.C., who's now at Houston. Benny Ball Boy, I forgot his name. Come on, Benny, you know his name.
Oh, Ben Olsen.
Ben Olsen. Him and Ben Olsen were old buds because they won the cup together at D.C.
Right.
And they had like a friendly rivalry of what you're going to wear. And Mike Pecky, right out of Abercrombie and Fitch or whatever, wore a nice sweater, tie, pants combo, which was, I thought, really well done. I was like, good. That's good. That's professional, casual, professional. It's not that Trainingsanzug, which I always think is hilarious, which is all the rage in Germany.
It's hard to get it right? Because you're like, if you wear a tracksuit,
I'm about a full suit, like Louis van Gaal style.
Yeah.
Always wear a professional suit, but that's out of fashion. No one does that anymore. I don't see the problem with that. Wear a
except the
suit.
weird. Yeah, I agree. Although
No one does that.
well, but I think it's not about in my with my fashion opinions that nobody cares about. It's like it's not just suit or no suit. It's also the execution. Is Troy Lesane wears suits, but he looks like he just came from the prom. Like it doesn't. Yeah. I don't think they really work on him. Like it has to be, there's
him, Stu Holden, and Taylor Twellman all look the same and dress the same. They must have sort of fashion consultant that tells them to wear light blue suits or something.
Troy Lesane's suits have been worse than either
of those
two.
Get your hair cut.
I would say.
Well, if the three of them were in a lineup, I couldn't tell them apart. Those are three identical white men to me. But anyway, I forgot what I was going to say. Something about that.
Yeah,
anyway,
what were you going to say? We don't have to talk about the fashions.
Red Bull 0-0. I kind of lost my place here.
So I don't know who our next coach is going to be. We've had we get these CFG. I think Domitorant was Pep Guardiola's assistant, so that was a CFG internal thing. Ronnie Dyla, I don't think he's coming back. He was so unhappy with everything about. So anyway, he quit basically after a year and a half.
I remember him and Tata Martino making fun of the referees once together.
He also spent too much time on social media. He was upset with what people were saying about him online. Like he was just he just was not into it. So I can't imagine he would come back. And then Ronnie Dyla, clearly, like there were some.
How's he doing?
In
what club did he go to again?
He's in Belgium. He went to Legion. Then now he changed to Bruges, right?
Oh, is he?
I think he's also in the Champions League, isn't he?
Yeah, you're right. He was at Standard Liège for a season.
Yeah, he got an upgrade. So he's doing well, I guess. I can't say.
Are him and Struber going to go at each other at the Champions League?
Are they matched up?
Maybe the Europa League later. I don't know. Is Club Brugge in the Champions League this year? You have to talk about that at some point. I don't remember them being.
Couldn't tell you. It starts this week. I know that. That's
right. So that's been the Hudson River Derby talk. We had a couple other things. I know I wanted to bring up the Colorado fans. Other news is U.S. Soccer is moving their headquarters to Atlanta. That's been a whole thing.
Like all of it?
Everything.
I read that too. So
Everything.
so Soccer House Chicago is going to Atlanta?
Yeah, Soccer House in Chicago has been gone for about a year or two. That was a while ago.
I don't even keep up.
They left Soccer House and they moved to offices in downtown Chicago where they're at now. And then that was just a temporary thing as they were looking for a big old complex, which in a lot of ways makes sense because when Greg Berhalter was hired, they had these new rules. New rules where all national team coaches had to live at headquarters, which are in Chicago. And Dave
now
Vandenberg,
they all have to pack up and go to Georgia?
Right. And Dave Vandenberg, who was the U20 coach based out of Austin, Texas, which he loved Austin, Texas, he's like, why would I leave Texas to go to Chicago? It's like I live in a year-round city, and Chicago has 9 months of winter. It's like, why would we all live up there? So a lot of coaches quit when that announcement was made, and they had to hire a bunch of new coaches. They all lived up there to quote unquote share notes by the water cooler, or whatever the phrase was. Anyway, that happened, and then they outgrew Soccer House because as an organization they got bigger, and essentially Chicago didn't make any sense. Soccer House was a gift. U.S. Soccer was at the Empire State Building for like 100 years. Then they were given offices in Colorado for the Olympics, I want to say, or the World Cup or something. Maybe World Cup. They were given offices in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And then they were given Soccer House in Chicago as a gift for the World Cup. And they were at Soccer House in Chicago for a long, long time, up until recently. And now it's time. Now they're big boys. Now they have money. They thought, let's build a complex with fields and training and offices and everything. Just a big old complex.
But this is also Arthur Blank like helping, right?
Orlando, Atlanta, and I want to say one or two other cities were all bidding for it. They were all in the running. And then it was just announced that Arthur Blank was the tiebreaker. He's going to contribute $50 million as part of this multi-super new complex they're building in Atlanta.
Who gives a shit?
About what?
Like, why would you bid? I mean, it's not like it's Amazon. It's not like it's going to create a ton of jobs or whatever.
He has his
Why
reasons.
do people bid? Like, why is that attractive to...
I have no idea. You have to ask the economics guys for that. But if 4 cities are fighting over it, then it means something to someone. But more, I like the move because it's East Coast. The big deal is they need a place where all the European-based players have an easy flight. B, it's the Atlanta airport, which apparently is the busiest airport in the world. I used to think it was the busiest airport in the country. Turns out it's the busiest airport in the world.
Yeah, I realized I just had to find that out for a crossword. Yeah.
So that means all the European guys, well, the South American guys, wherever you're from, you can get a direct flight right to Atlanta. So that's a big part of it. It's year-round weather, despite the fact that it's muggy and hot as hell during the summertime, which is where they're going to likely be training. But they're athletes. I guess they can deal with it, and maybe it's good training. It's like their version of swamp training. It's like how the Germans do altitude training in the Alps. Americans do swamp training in the swamp. And it's probably cheap space. They got Uncle Arthur to help them out, and it seemed like all checks were checked off. So the U.S. Soccer HQ leading up to the next World Cup and moving forward indefinitely is now going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. So
all right,
there we go. And it's related to a topic I want to bring up in the Germany hour. Because the DFB teaser
alert.
The DFB just finished their complex, and oh boy, is it an issue. A little bit of preview for hour 2.
Ooh.
And in a lot of ways, the U.S. soccer stuff that's been happening is now currently being copied almost person to person in the German soccer sphere, which I'm going to bring up in hour 2. So a little teaser there for hour 2 of the German world. So U.S. soccer is moving to Atlanta. Other games in MLS, the LAFC confidently beat the LA Galaxies. The LA Galaxy are currently renovating themselves. There was a great article in The Athletic about them and their moves and their quiet little moves that they're doing with Billy Sharp and the fact they have a transfer ban, but they're still figuring out. And
Miami lost a wild game to Atlanta.
No Messi. And the fans that spent $500 on tickets are complaining.
Well, it doesn't say Messi on the ticket.
True. I'm a real soccer fan, so I'm like, it's soccer. It's not a freaking clown show. Maybe he'll be like, he had 2 friendlies. He had to take a break. It's turf. I mean, the writing was on the wall. You should have known ahead of time. It was likely he wasn't going to play that game anyway. But also, it's a soccer team and a soccer league. I mean, I love Messi, but the big news should be.
I mean, people get their money. I mean, if you're a Miami fan, this didn't go your way, but that was a pretty wild game.
And Atlanta home games are always packed. So it was just another night in Atlanta for them. And they comprehensively destroyed Sergio Busquets and Inter Miami 5-2. Jordi Alba didn't play because he didn't want to play on turf. Oh, so here's big news for us, by the way. You know, Major League Soccer is always second fiddle to the NFL, right? Always, because NFL is big $billion bucks, and MLS is this little startup league, and we have to share their stadiums, and and we just have to do our best. I remember back in the day when Bob Bradley coached the Chicago Fire at Soldier Field, they refused to cut the grass for them because they didn't give a crap about them. They're like, no, we want it long. We'll cut it before our games because if we cut it before your games, it would ruin the pitch and blah, 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 blah. And then a lot of teams that play in stadiums, all turf. Atlanta, turf. He built it for soccer, but he was building it for football. Seattle, turf. New England, turf. It's 5 or 6 stadiums, all the football, it's all turf. Aaron Rodgers. Charlotte, turf. Aaron Rodgers at MetLife, right, or somewhere, he really ripped up his ACL. And it started this strong debate where it's like, turf is bad for football players too. It's just bad for everybody. I talked to a friend of mine who works for SoFi Stadium, and he was also into sports, and he mentioned that like since turf started or whatever, since turf was introduced, ankle injuries have gone up 76%. Like it's a very clear correlation that turf equals way more injuries for the players. So the NFL Players Association made a statement where they don't want to play on turf anymore. And seemingly, I think the NFL is kind of being held hostage. And I believe they even made some sort of an announcement that moving forward, all stadiums are going to be converted to natural grass surfaces in the near future.
Let's go.
Which is like hallelujah for us. Like we won that one. We've been clamoring that for years. Soccer only belongs on grass. Soccer does not belong on turf. I don't care what anybody says. It's always weird on turf. The ball bounces weird. The grass looks like plastic. It's weird. Players fall hard, and Jordi Alba doesn't want to play. The Australian national team played Mexico in Dallas, I believe, or somewhere where there was turf, and they complained afterwards. Their knees were just like, what the hell is this? It's like, we don't. What is this surface? Because the rest of the world doesn't really know what turf is for the most part. So anyway, that's good news for us, right? I'll take it. Let's see. Let's hope it happens. Let's get that natural grass surfaces in.
Let's do it.
And then the other topic I want to talk about is Colorado. And it's kind of a bigger issue, Bjorn. This season, we've seen a lot of
fans. The fans are taking matters into their own hands. Yeah.
And I'm loving it. Colorado this week, Colorado fired Robin Fraser. And they did this whole statement being like, Robin Fraser sucked. They're like, Robin Fraser was bad. Sorry, guys, we fired Robin Fraser. And the fans responded with being like, Robin Fraser is not the issue. You're the issue. And they had a very serious, like, it's you. Like, we're not idiots. We know that what's-his-face Kroenke is absentee and that you refuse to spend any money and you don't even, Colorado Rapids is one of those clubs that are being left behind. And they're like, it's you. So in this game, and then Colorado wrote back with their letter being like, we're trying our best and blah blah blah, all this back and forth. and then at the game, the fans had did a 20-minute walkout. When in the 20th minute, they were going to stand up and walk out. They sung "Country Roads" by John Denver, a song I've been trying to get Americans to sing in stadiums for a while now. They pulled it off. Good for them. And then after you've
been trying to what 2 or 3
years.
What efforts have you made to get
going on the boards? There's a big thing among the U.S. soccer fans of how our chants are terrible, and they are. You go to England and they have the most creative chants.
I believe that we will win. No good.
Oh, it's terrible. USA, all that stuff. And they purposely refuse any new entrants because they want it very simple, guys, who I have plenty of problems with. I'm not going to get into that right now. Gatekeep the songs. They keep them simple and stupid. And people have been complaining for years. I offered Country Roads.
Country Roads? And what's the problem? People say it's too complicated.
Too complicated.
What do you want people to sing Take Me Home Country Road? Or what's the...
I want in Qatar... I want, in the middle of the world, I want an 80% U.S. fan base. We're beating Holland 1-0, or we're down Holland 1-0. 76-minute Christian Pulisic and the gang, they're so downtrodden. I want the whole crowd just to roar, "Take me home, country roads in the sand where I'm so..." I kind of forgot the words. "West Virginia, something, something. Take me home, country roads."
You just want people to sing a song?
The whole song, the whole stadium goes electric. The U.S. fans in the middle of freaking Qatar land, they're looking up and they're like, "Holy crap. It's a rallying cry. Take me home, country road to take the goal to the home." Boom, we eliminate the Netherlands. We go on to the quarterfinals. But that's neither here nor there. For whatever reason, it's too complicated. So USA just keeps singing USA, USA, which does nothing.
This sounds more like performance art, what you have in mind.
The English fans do full things of like, they're so creative, right? What was the last? They did one at the England-Scotland game. They have like a whole new poem ready to go based on news from that morning. So it's like they're ready to go. There's no reason we can't be half as good as that. But anyway, that's another topic. Now I'm anyway, so Colorado 20th.
Colorado pulled it off. They enacted your vision.
Yeah. Then they stood up and they left and
went
to banners.
Went to West Virginia. We all collectively went to West Virginia.
I don't know if they did that. They did leave the stadium. I did look at houses in West Virginia recently because according to the internet, it is the cheapest housing market in the United States. But that's neither here nor there.
Got to be a reason for that.
Well, yeah, because I'm not there. They put stuff out. They said, "For the team, for the players, for the badge, we deserve better." Something like that. They all left. And they left in 20th minute. What did the stadium do? They turned off the clock. 20th minute because they knew it was happening. What did the announcers do? They said nothing. They ignored it. They did not bring it up because, Bjorn?
State-run media. MLS state-run media.
MLS state-run media. We don't have actual journalists covering our league. We just have the league itself covering itself. Anyway, interns came out and they removed "We deserve better." That's all they removed. So it said, "For the team, for the pitch, for the players." That's it. They took their message, did a creative edit. The interns came out, ripped the "We deserve better," and it was so emblematic of what the hell's going on in Colorado. It's such a fuck you fan. Like the leagues and the fans are enemies. The owners in the league and the fans are enemies. They hate each other. They're on the other sides of the fight. It's just so funny following Germany. It's so different. Like the fans are in charge over there. But here the fans are sheep, and they're like, it's so interesting. So I just want to give props to Colorado fans for making a demonstration. Props to the Galaxy fans for getting their voice heard. New York Red Bulls fans, I think we're 2 steps past that. We're just not showing up anymore.
Mostly voting with their feet, yeah.
With their lack of showing up. We had a lot. We had a few. We had a bit. We had some. We had other stuff. I forgot what it was. Austin FC players going viral on TikTok after their team was eliminated. I'm loving the fans getting out there and showing up. And we need more of that. I vote for even more of that. Let's go. So kudos to Colorado fans.
Well, NYCFC fans seem to be in complete agreement that it is the coach's fault. Everybody that I talked to on Saturday was ready to. So I think in our case, we're just gonna.
That's step one.
We're just gonna go the old-fashioned route and get a new coach.
That's step one. Step 2 is, does the coach get proper resources and support from his organization?
Yeah,
That's
to be
TBD.
I mean, yeah.
TBD. All right. Do you have any other thoughts on the Bruce Arena stuff?
That's I don't know. I mean, I don't have anything to say. It's just the weirdness continues in New England. I'd like to start with a retraction. Can I do a retraction? Last week, because you said. Okay.
Richie Williams, he was fired for something off field. I offered something I didn't 100% know. I want to correct it. He was fired for being drunk on the job. That's what he was fired for. He was on the booze while working, so they fired him for that.
Not the other. Yeah. So
you're still fired for something bad, but it wasn't harassment.
Kale and Kyle, you will be suspended from the Schnitzel Boys for 30 days.
No, baby, this is independent media. We're not censored. We say how it is.
We can make mistakes. If we fuck up, we face no consequences.
We're going to offer retractions. I'm about to offer retraction in episode 2, too, by the way. I had 2 retractions ready to go for this week. Because I always listen to my podcast and then I'm just
All
like,
right.
oh, that's not 100% right. I should correct that next week.
I didn't see it. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, in New England, they announced, Richie Williams was the interim coach, and then they removed him after there was some weirdness. The players didn't want to train, or he gave a press conference.
Him and Showery Joseph had to be physically separated beforehand. Showery Joseph,
we heard
when
that.
Bruce Arena left,
so there
Showery
were
Joseph
a bunch of things came out. So then Richie Williams, there was a statement that what's his name? Kurt P.
Yeah, Clint PA. I don't know.
Clint PA is
Revs
the Revs 2 coach is going to get promoted. The statement said Revs 2 coach is going to get promoted, and the other 2 are getting fired. The other 2 assistants, but no word as to what happened to Richie Williams. And then they gave a press conference. People were saying, "What's happening with him?" They're like, "Well, he's not fired. We're just giving him some time off." And so now the latest.
Sorry, you go. I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt.
please go ahead.
He's the one who brought it up. So it makes like if you're at work, Bjorn, and you bring up the work, like you're like, oh, set like he's
right. So they can't fire.
You can't
Richie
fire
Williams
you. You're the
because
one who brought
he's got the whistleblower protection.
So
but everybody hates
whistleblower
him
gets
for
fired.
ratting
Right.
out. Everybody hates him for ratting out Bruce Arena, so he can't be the coach anymore either.
And he
So
seems
it's Clint PA.
I have no idea.
Clint
PA.
And now he's gonna have Tab Ramos apparently as his assistant.
That's new to me. Interesting.
That's the rumor. This is not official, but this is a rumor that's circulating online today that Tab Ramos is gonna be the assistant to Clint. And then they promoted somebody as the new Revs 2 coach, who apparently has a checkered history of workplace behavior. I mean, the New England Revolution are an absolute mess right now.
Right.
An absolute mess. If you're talking about, and they lost the Derby of messes. I mean, that's who Colorado was playing in this game.
Right, Colorado won. Yeah.
So Colorado won that Derby, the Derby of messes, against the New England Revolution, who are their own dumpster fire. So
we're the on the field note gegen Eland. They're the off the field
note gegen Eland.
Yeah, they're the
Derby.
PR
Yes.
dumpster fire versus the other PR dumpster
That's
fire.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. That's all I got.
That's U.S. soccer. All right, boys, we got a lot to talk about. Deutsches
Oh,
football.
Stefan has never been. I'm going to say this now. He's never been as pumped for a Germany hour as he has been tonight. He has a list. He's got a piece of paper. So buckle up, people. Meet us on the other side. You won't regret it.
It's time for some DFB talk.
And buy some Etsy mugs. The mugs are beautiful. I had coffee out of them this morning.
Or sweaters. It's getting cold. And we have a bunch of our friends heading to Washington, D.C. next week. We'll talk about that in a bit.
Yep.
All right. I'll see you guys over in the other stream. Hour 1 done. Hour 2 just getting started. Schnitzel night. Halftime.
Let's go.
Tschüss.